Hey, in this video, I'm going to be sharing my main takeaways from reading this book, The One Thing by Gary Keller. And let me start out by saying that, if you are finding that you are overwhelmed, whether it is maybe you're starting a new business or maybe you're starting like a new fitness routine and you kind of find yourself not knowing what to do or what to focus on, then this book will really help you. And so I'm going to be sharing some of my personal stories of how this has helped me both in business and in health. And so let me start out with sharing a little bit about how this book is really becoming very helpful when it comes to running a business. So when I first actually got started as an entrepreneur, I was a real estate agent. And this was actually the first time I ever, became an entrepreneur. And prior to that, I didn't know what it would take to own or run a business. And basically what I quickly found out as a real estate agent was that I essentially took on like 20 plus different jobs, from being my own marketer, my advertiser, my own bookkeeper, my customer service, my own negotiator, basically my media producer, like all these things, web developer, like there's all these things that I was doing. And essentially my to-do list just kept on growing and growing, and I didn't know what to focus on. And so when you find yourself in this situation where you don't know what is a priority, what is the most important thing to do, then this is what leads to being overwhelmed. And it could be the difference between I don't want to say successful business necessarily, but maybe a fulfilling business versus one that just feels like, you're running around spinning your wheels and kind of scattered all over the place. And so what the one thing really helps you to do is to find the focus, basically find what is that one thing that if you were to put all of your energy and focus, then doing all of these other things will basically become unnecessary. If I can even spell unnecessary. What is that one thing that if you give all of your attention and focus to, then everything else will be either easier or unnecessary, right? And so that's essentially what the book is going to walk you through. And so for me, for example, this could be the difference between working 100 hours a week versus basically finding like the top income producing activities, or basically the most leveraged activities, and I can basically bring down my work week to maybe 40 hours, or who knows, maybe I can even do 4 hours a week if I really wanted to, depending on how good I am at implementing the principles taught in the one thing. Because basically what this is helping you do is figuring out what is busy work versus productive work. And once you figure out what are things that you are doing that are just basically busy work, things that aren't really moving the needle forward, you can begin to eliminate them. And as you begin to find the things that are actually important, then you can begin to give more time and energy into that. And here's one of the biggest lessons that I learned from this book, and it's basically that success basically builds on success. So when you are able to take one thing and you put all of your energy and focus on that one thing, there's this compound effect where if you do that one thing consistently over time, growth at first may seem like it's not happening, but then there's an exponential growth. And that's what the compound effect is. And that's the importance of finding what is that one thing that you're going to put all of your energy and focus to. So let me bring this home for you and basically give you a couple other things. If you're an entrepreneur, for example, there can be a variety of ideas that you may have. Like for me, once I think of one idea, I may start thinking into the future. It's like, okay, if this succeeds, then maybe I can do this other thing. And then I have two ideas, and then I start basically going down this rabbit hole where 2 ideas lead into 3 ideas. Next thing you know, I have like 7, 8, 9 ideas, and I have basically all of these ideas, and my mind is essentially scatterbrained kind of thing. And in order for me to even execute, what I would have to do anyways is basically pick one, right? Start out with one. What is that one thing? And before I even worry about anything else, I need to find what is that one thing that I'm going to put all of my focus on and give all of my energy to it. And basically, that's how I'm going to create success. Now, let me give you an example for health purposes, for example, because, this book can help you for, your business life, health life, spiritual life, relationships, whatever you name it. It works for a lot of things. So, for example, for health, I had some health issues, and I remember when I first got on a health journey, I was basically trying to figure out, okay, what is one thing that I can do that if I do it over time, I will see massive gains in my health. And so for me, I started doing intermittent fasting. And so every day for, a period of 90 days, and well, that's where I started, I would basically wake up and I would do intermittent fasting. And over time, my energy level started to increase, and it basically got me to the point where I felt so good doing intermittent fasting for those, first 90 days that I actually am now on 7 years doing this one thing. And like I said, success built on success over time, sequentially, one thing at a time. And what that means is I focused on this one thing initially. And once this became a habit, just like I had all of these other ideas, once this one is like, okay, I've essentially mastered this one, it's now a routine where it's now like essentially part of my life, I can kind of like scratch that off, and then I can go on to the second thing. And so the second thing for me, I was already doing intermittent fasting, and then I just added drinking water first thing upon waking up. And then I would do that one thing consistently over time, and basically started to see huge improvements on my health. So like I said, this can apply for health, for business. For business, what is that one thing? Is it, maybe meeting with clients? Is it maybe creating content for your business? Whatever that one activity that you're choosing to do, that is what you're trying to find. So those are essentially some of my main takeaways. And now let me give you kind of like a big picture overview so that you have a more clear idea of how you're going to find this one thing. And obviously for, the best thing to do would be to read the book. But let me give you a little bit of what I found, really works. So there's a difference between having, I'm going to say this, one thing. Right, so there's one thing when you're talking about big picture. So a big picture idea could be, maybe you're looking to, if we're talking about health, maybe you're looking to be sub 10% body fat, or if you're looking to build a business, maybe you have, a goal of, maybe impacting 1,000 people, getting 1,000 people results via your products or services. Whatever that big picture is, it's whatever impact you want to have. That would be basically the one thing. And this could, when you're talking about a big picture, this could be, you can think of this as like your long-term goal, right? Well, like what is one thing? Like if you were to like have, your business do one thing, or if you wanted to, have your health, do one thing for you, what is that going to look like? And at the end, that is the big picture. And so you can talk about this, in terms of years, maybe a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. Obviously the longer the time frame, the harder it is to, the harder it is going to be to find what is a priority. But there is a process that you follow, and this is why it's more that you read the book, where you find like the immediate now, basically the like the immediate, like, if you want to do something, in your business for 1 year, well, maybe there's something you can do, this month. Or for example, for me, as I make these videos, for me, this is like a weekly thing where I know that, doing one of these videos a week is really helping me grow. So this is part of like my personal development. That's like one thing that I do for personal development is basically study one book and actually teach it, because by teaching the book, it actually helps me study the book even more so that I can share the information with you. But it can also go down into like a daily, what is one thing that I can do today to move my business forward? What is one thing that I can do today to improve my health? What is one thing that I can do today to improve my relationships, right? There's, different areas that you're going to have these things. And so basically what you're essentially going to be doing as you begin to narrow what is your one thing is you got to have a big picture perspective, but then also you got to learn to go and basically trail all of that back into what are immediate action steps, things that you can start to focus on now. And so in the book does a really good job at walking you through it. But to give you an example, if you are looking for a certain result, right? So here are your results. Let's suppose that this is an iceberg. Well, you're going to have results. And really what's going to determine your results is basically your productivity. What are your daily routines, your habits, the things that are basically, moving you closer towards that result, right? So you can think of that productivity cycle as being your one thing, your immediate step, but all of these action steps that you're taking in the immediate time, they're going to be driven by something that's basically beneath the surface that goes really deep down, and it has nothing to do with basically what is going on today. But let's say, for example, that you want to lean down to sub 10% body fat, right? So those are the results that you're looking for. So for you, productive may mean that, hey, 3 days a week you go to the gym, right? And so if you go to the gym 3 days a week, you are being productive. You're going, that 1 hour that you're going there, you're basically working out. You're not doing anything else. That's basically all that you're doing. That's the immediate action step that you're taking on right now. But now you have to also look at priorities. And so your priorities, this is really what tends to affect the side that's visible. So when people see you going to the gym, they see that, hey, you're being productive. They're basically, that's all that they're seeing, right? If you're running a business or doing content creation or whatever, that's what people are seeing. But what people don't see, and this is part of the bigger picture, is basically your priorities. So for you to be able to go to the gym, for example, you may have to turn down Taco Tuesdays, Wednesdays, happy hours, maybe, Friday nights, going out to the bar and having, drinks with friends. You may have to basically, in order for you to focus and be productive, here's what a lot of people don't or may not really understand is that when you say yes to a result, you're looking for these results, you're saying yes to, hey, I'm going to be productive, I'm going to change my health, I'm going to change my finances, my business, or whatever. Whenever you say yes to one thing, what that means as far as priorities is that you are basically saying no to 100 different things. And so in order for you to be able to actually pull through and really focus and give your attention to what's really important to you, it's not only a matter of finding out what your priorities are, but really it's about finding purpose in what you are doing. Once you find purpose, this is your big picture. This is what you're looking for long term. Once you have your purpose, it's easy to set your priorities. Once you set your priorities, it's easy to become productive. And once you become productive, you do that one thing over and over and over, and over time, you get the results that you are looking for. This is how you do more, achieve more, earn more and have more following what this book, The One Thing, teaches you. I hope you enjoy it. And as always, if you'd like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and share. And I will see you on the next video.